Welcome, come and watch till the end. After crossing a freshwater wetland, they returned home. Cause of fatal 3-car accident. Dad, rest in peace. Kayla is visible. Center Gooters, there was a whiteboard. He woke him by throwing an eraser. Cal wonders why. What would your father do if you do not fail him immediately? Sir, those are combative words. Kale's lawyer appears in court. Mother, teacher, and judge. Kale was shackled for 3 months after his defeat. Strange ankle band. 2 officers tag Kale over the summer vacations at home. If he leaves the 100-meter radius surrounding the GPS modem or takes it out, the police will knock on the door. An AC 130 will pass in 10 seconds. As Kale's mother pays the prison money, he leaves the country. Since Kale has nothing to do, we obtain a 3-month home by consuming every minute of every movie show. His mom returns home furious after a week. Discuss room cleaning. Kale washes for hours. Cleaning the home and defeating Red Bull were short-lived. Kale wakes up when he hears a vehicle. He watches the new neighbors move in. Even though he runs when the doorbell rings, he opens it to see a burning piece of paper. He walks into it and realizes his mistake. That is crap. Follows the 2 offenders. Bustling road. I forgot that. Down and finds his GPS tag broken. Red lights. He rushes home but is too late. After the cops arrive and jail him, he realizes I like Ashley boy. Love in handcuffs trumps Kale. After their initial encounter, she calls Officer Parker to say he is getting off. But not again. He followed his word by mapping the GPS range. Handmade fence to enter the house. Knows where to go suddenly. He watches Ashley get home. Driveway, but a beat it I didn't. Hides in the woods before rushing inside to conceal. He walks upstairs to say, "Dude, look at Ashley through the window." Even though there was no internet TV, which is not cool. Cal greets Ronnie's closest buddy at the entrance where they last saw each other. Climbing stairs. About his recent activities. After a few days of boredom, he offers Ronnie spectacles and says he has been observing his buddies. He proves Mr. Pilch belongs. When his wife is away, I am not a stalker, but basic observations are comprehensible the next time you watch. He leads Ronnie to show him in the living room. He loved Ashley. Kale may be observed in a small reach around the conclusion of that day. Ashley appeared and offered to assist, and they spoke. After his mother goes to bed, he watches the news and hears about a suburban crime occurred. If you're bored, watch a late-night program. Yoga flowed instead. Channel he ducks before realizing it is a trap. Dark for her to see him return. Her father interrupts the Ashley show. Room and shouts at her. Disrespectful that the door shut as she went. When he goes to bed, he sees that Mr. Turner returns home late, which is peculiar. As the guy gets back in his vehicle and departs, Cal notices that it is the same as the kidnapper's Mustang with a ding on the front. Kale will make bumper sauce tomorrow. To investigate more, neighbor. GPS modem range. What if his buddy walks up to the fence? Kel is pleased to learn that her neighbor is just getting married. I fought a captured rabbit. Ronnie returns later that day. Look at Ashley heading to another pool. We are swimming. Kale's 2-eyed Serrani leans in too far. Both boys fell. She peeked through the glass again, scared that she heard the bang, and Ashley stared at her a few minutes later. 2 boys answer the doorbell. After falling down the stairs, tell Ashley what happened. Before she entered Gail's bedroom, are his glasses out? Doing what? It is normal. Luckily, she tells them to monitor Mr. Turner, the suspected cruel tyrant. Texas right, discussed him. Description, but Ashley, she realizes the defense is fine. Bro, what are you doing? 3 teens met that night. Ronnie obtains his uncle's espionage gear and spends the night with them for a stakeout. They stop spawning after a few hours. Mr. Turner is pulling up. He unveils a new whip. He takes his new companion to his vehicle. He suddenly draws a sharp knife and wants to strike it from behind them. Before severing the blood flow, the youngsters were terrified. Instead of her dress's price tag. Less horrible than kidnapping? No way. That murder case splits the gang. Cam walks Ashley home at night. That must be his limit. Before Cal returns to his room. Watching Mr. My son loves Turner now. He observes the lady fleeing the home on the webcam. Begins writing what occurred. However, this dummy left the flash on when it was full, fell to the ground, and hung on. Look around. He gets up and stares through the window. Oh, I am in danger, Kales. He crawls to answer the phone. Picking it up is Murder. Explains the issue quickly but glances out the window and sees the girl getting back into her vehicle and driving away. Every man had that one lady who went away. Breakfast Spinach says, "Why are you in my house, neighbor?" Kale's mother enters, pointing to their shopping bags and adding that when she left the store, Mr. Turner, also known as Robert, volunteered to replace her flat tire. No kidding, it helped her. However, his mother realizes she forgot to take the milk home, so she leaves Robert to fetch it. Cal cooks alone. Kale's GPS tracks the robber tracker to learn what happened next. Cal claims he skipped class. Robert discusses his stay and many high school instructors wanted out. Stealthy way, Kale's mother brings milk a few minutes later. Robert then negotiates with my dad. A meal out. Ashley has a late day party. Her parents are away. Naturally, Kale continues snooping. After a few minutes, he observes a guy kissing and talking to another guy. After Ashley's no, Kale blasts loud music from his rooftop to end the celebration, but it does not work. Despite his promise to throw away his iPod, Ashley leaves through his window to turn off the music. He claims he spied on them since she moved in, regarding her life's details. He recognized her personality, and Ashley appears to be very into this. When they kiss, it is either the craziest or most touching thing I have ever heard. Boys prefer pretty females. It creeps out strangers. Robert's window is next door, recently been bloody. After hearing loud ideas, they check out their window and see the notorious neighbor Pola. The next day, he flung the bloodied sack down his stairs. They investigate Ronnie's vehicle theft. Ashley followed Robert shopping to see what he bought. Ronnie breaks into Kale's vehicle as his phone rings while traveling home. Ashley assumed you had one job. Kale rushes. Robert returns home. He asked Ronnie for the garage code as Ashley drove. She greets you as she exits the parking lot. Robert says, "You damn millennial boomers." Ashley gathers the three adolescents at home to discuss future steps. Everyone to stop doing it, believing they had gone too far. Before her mother contacted her again, her parents' anniversary appears. "You have two parents." Ashley was flexing, my guy. Kale later that night, desperate to get Robert's home designs and study them, constructs the portable camera. Streams to his TV before he leaves. "Greg, Kayla, my phone was in his vehicle. If Ron breaks into Robert's garage with a camera." Ronnie finds his shed keys. Cal wants the phone, Sam wants the bag. That stinks," she says, finding the bag in the corner. "If it has hair, do not remove it." Ronnie flees as the garage door closes unexpectedly. To home, Hale grabs a bat and rushes over him as his ankle band bursts. "Damn, they are quick. This weirdo is chatting with my pal." "You lie, boy." Caleb allowed them to inspect his shed. A blue bag contains a dead deer. Robert's automobile struck. Murder, right? Cal's mom scolds him at home. He recalls his court date. He receives a text after she apologizes to Robert tomorrow as Cal watches from his window. Ronnie told him to check. Cal sees Ronnie asleep through the film. "Bro, it was a joke. If you think he is alive, cool out." Buddy Ronnie describes leaving his residence without seeing him. Anything in Cal forgives him and shows him his mother. A video camera to Robert Ronnie to apologize. "About what happened, dude." Drain the main vein while Cal notices something alone. As he understands this, his wife is abducted. Robert hurts mom, but does not care. He plays baseball with Ronnie at Kale's. He attacks Hale upstairs. Kale attempts to unhook the GPS modem, but Robert stops him. Says no, Lettuce puts it his best, but it is not enough. So he runs outside to set off the alarm again, and Robert says no, overpowering Kale knocks him out, and Ken wakes up to a 50 Shades of Grey Robert threatening to beat him in his bedroom. Accuse him of everything. No, dude. His tears are ineffective. He forces Robert to confess, but Ashley invades the residence. Kale's final shot at Robert. Ashley joins us briefly. Assist. Ashley goes to free Kale while he says his mom is vegan. Before he grabs them, The two adolescents rush out of their rooms and into Ashley's swimming pool, setting off the alert. He runs to Robert's residence, smashing the front door. The officer finishes it despite a call to Cale's home. Dude only visited Robert's place once. Hal seeks his mother everywhere. Before finding the crawlspace, he smashes the vent beneath the home and enters before realizing heat is too large. He hears a sound from someplace else in the home and knocks on the walls before unlocking a door to a hidden chamber where he finds an animal. The operation table and numerous big freezers inspire him to kidnap a club girl in a red wig. He clears the cabinet. What would another hidden room cost? The officer hears sounds as he arrives. He murders Robert. Investigate, only to be assaulted and immobilized by Robert Bummer. He re-enters Cale via the hidden room's floor. He plunges into unclean water. Seeing Robert's old buddies was pleasant. He escapes terrified victims. He discovers his mother has the same problem. Robert swiftly kills Cale before 50 Shades of Grey can get rid of her, but his mother's desire to protect him takes over now that you are in control. Before throwing Robert into the hole, Cale tucks his stomach in. After body soup, they kiss as more officers arrive. Cale and his mother leave home safely. Cale gets his officer removed ankle tag. You are the only one who has had one of them taken off early for good behavior. Cale takes his summer vacation with Ashley. Thanks for watching. Watch another video. Welcome. Come and watch till the end. Lauren Monroe, a prominent lawyer, appears first. She gently declines a $1 million case to represent a criminal, citing her ethics. Lauren is a lawyer who prioritizes ethics before profit. Next, William Monroe, Lauren's younger brother, aspires to be mayor of New York. A reporter tells Lauren the awful news during a press briefing. Next, she is shocked. Lauren, William, their mother Catherine, Lauren's spouse Scott, and Claire attend the funeral. William tells Lauren that their father was proud of her thereafter. They discuss bringing their mother closer. Later, Lauren visits her father's office and recalls how he taught her chess, equating it to life. H.G., Monroe's attorney, comes a week later. Lauren receives $1 million, while William gets $20 million. Police and medical colleges get $50 million. Harold hands Lauren a gift and claims her father left it. She discovers a pen drive and keys inside. She watches her father advise her to speak the truth as she connects the pen drive to her laptop. Lauren discovers an entryway with a lock in the woods. The key from the previous item opens it, revealing steps to a basement. Lauren braves the dark bunker and discovers a guy shackled. When he moves, she flees. Lauren calls 911 at home, but her brother stops her. He wants to give her his portion since he feels awful about the money split. Lauren declines, stating that money is unimportant. Scott checked on her that night. She swears she is but sends him and Claire out, saying she needs alone time. She then examines her childhood photo. She returns to the bunker armed the following morning. This time, she notices the guy asleep and swiftly collects his fingerprints to identify him. She flees as the guy wakes up, but she returns wearing a mask and asks who he is. He seems to know her birth date, her brother's name, and that she married against her father's wishes. After so long in captivity, the guy tells her he feels like family. When she replies that she is a decent person, he encourages her to let him go because good people do. Lauren believes the guy deserves his incarceration, so she investigates. The guy initially orders steak, Caesar salad, and Goldwater, and he ignores Lauren's threat to leave him to die. Since he has the upper hand, she offers him a razor and leaves. When Lauren gets home, she sends the fingerprints to her detective friend Emilio, asking him to gather the information as soon as possible. Then she buys everything the man demanded and heads back to the bunker. After so many years, he finally receives the delicious food and begins to enjoy it with tears of joy. She also gives him a chocolate bar, which makes him cry. He tells her that her father used to bring him chocolate once. He then tells her his history. According to him, he met Archer 30 years ago, and they quickly became friends because they shared 3 vices: gambling, ego, and women. They became business partners, and one night, they had a few drinks together before driving back on their way, when Archer hit a pedestrian and killed him on the spot. Morgan wanted to call the police, but Archer insisted that if there was no body, he would bury it because there was no crime. Archer assaulted Morgan and locked him in the bunker because he was scared Morgan would report him to the authorities. Morgan also says Archer had an affair with Sophia, a lady unlike Catherine. Thus, Archer called her Gypsy. Rose. Lauren does not trust him, so he provides her with Sophie's address to verify. He advises her to ask Harold, since he keeps everything. Lauren is cool despite her incomprehension. She contacts Emilio to check on Morgan Warner. She meets Sophia at the designated location. Sophia tells Lauren that she met her father at a poker game. Lauren asks about a guy in a photo as they converse. Sophia introduces Alex, her son, and Lauren's half-brother. Lauren cries after hearing this. She later confronts Harold about keeping the family in the dark. Lauren begs the lawyer for more secrets. He assures her that nothing can injure her and that he will keep the remainder of the information private. He proposes, and she forgets it afterwards. Lauren later visits her mother, who is preparing for William's election. Morgan Warner is unfamiliar to her mother. William enters with a strained look, and Morgan is upset as he leaves the bunker for the first time in a long time. Scott, Lauren's husband, calls to ask where she has been. Lauren apologizes and hangs up, pledging reconciliation. She then drives Morgan in her direction. Morgan shows her the corpses once they arrive. Morgan smokes while digging. Lauren's greatest fears come true as she uncovers a human skull, proving Morgan was speaking the truth. She conceals the skull and returns Morgan to the bunker. She urges him to put the collar back on, but he begs her not to betray him, stating that as an honest lawyer, she should not be harsh like her father. Morgan then expresses his pain, saying he was unable to see her mother even at her funeral. He pleads with her to let him go because he wants to salvage what few years he has left and promises to vanish from their lives without causing them any harm. But Lauren apologizes to him and walks away with her eyes welling up. The next day, she visits her brother's office and asks him for advice, saying it is for one of her friends. William says he would dump his corpse in the river or hire thugs to make him vanish after some contemplation. Lauren goes to the bunker with a bag and makes Morgan promise that he will vanish forever, saying that he has been in this hell for longer than she has been alive and that once she releases him, he will never look back. Lauren agrees and asks him to clean himself, telling him that he will be released tonight. She then goes to Harold and asks him to arrange for $1 million and a jet to fly off someone who her father had wronged. Harold asks why in the following scene, but she will not say. Morgan leaves, but Lauren wonders whether her father has mentioned her. He thinks Archer was proud of her but disliked her going against his friends. Morgan reveals to Lauren that William paid the union representatives. Lauren is surprised and tells William immediately. Lauren disagrees with him, saying that bribing is necessary to advance. He claims their father paid individuals to gain her a district attorney post. She punches him and rushes out, demanding that he stop lying. Morgan exits holding a chess piece. He breathes fresh air and feels free when he walks outdoors. Lauren leads him to the private plane, where Harold hands him his new ID cards and informs him of his account balance. Harold and Morgan board the plane and Lauren cleans the bunker. She discovers poison beneath the bed, but does nothing since she believes everything is finished. Next, Emilio delivers Morgan's paperwork to Lauren's residence. At home, Catherine opens Lauren's box. As Lauren goes in and wonders why Catherine is staring at her work, her mother asks her in terror why she has a photo of Carson. Lauren calls him Morgan and admits that her father kept him in the bunker for years. Catherine calls him a cold-hearted serial murderer and wonders where he is. Lauren says she released him. She runs to the airport and finds Harold and the pilot dead. She hurries home, but Catherine is gone. After seeing the bunker's door open, she checks on Catherine and discovers her mother unconscious. Morgan switches off the light behind her as she checks on Catherine. He knocks her unconscious and bonds her. He tells her he poisoned her father and the truth about the past when she wakes up. Morgan tells her about the night he gave Catherine a pill and forced himself on her while Archer came there for his wife's aid and drove him to the bunker. But Morgan distracted Archer and caused them to collide with a pedestrian. It is also revealed that Morgan was the one who buried the body, despite Archer's objections. When Morgan blamed Archer for everything, Archer knocked him down and dragged him to the bunker, where he was assaulted. Lauren tries to convince him that she will help him get justice for what her family did to him. Morgan says he does not make deals and wants them to rot there miserably like he did for 30 years. He also shares his plan to go after the rest of their family and destroy the family's legacy using all of the secrets he knows. At this point, Catherine awakens and tells Morgan that she should have ended his life herself, prompting him to stop her. Lauren then calls him a pathetic lunatic, which infuriates him, and he assaults her and throws her against the walls. He then reveals himself to be her biological father, knocking the wind out of her. Catherine then grabs the gun and shoots him in the back of the head, burning it. Thanks for watching. Watch another video. Welcome, come and watch till the end. New York City author Jennifer Hills wrote her second book in Louisiana. She picks up the cabin keys at a store on the way. Earl gives her keys and directions at the store. Jennifer's vacation is for writing serenity. Jennifer stops at a gas station to seek directions when she gets lost. Johnny, an attendant, directs her there. Jennifer accidentally presses her panic button, scaring Johnny. His buddies Andy and Stanley giggle as he spills a pail of fluid. Johnny looks embarrassed as Jennifer drives off. Jennifer arrives at the cabin, her home for months, after a lengthy drive. She promptly unpacks, ready to move. After days of book writing, Jennifer rests by the lake the next day. She ignores strange sounds. The sounds return, making her nervous. Jennifer checks the shed across the way and discovers only poison vials. She washes her clothing after spilling her drink. An unknown individual is surreptitiously filming her half naked. The next day, she runs into the woods and finds an abandoned cottage. Jennifer peeks inside out of curiosity. She keeps going because nothing interests her. She calls Matthew, a plumber, after finding her sink and toilet blocked at home. He stutters due to mental illness. Jennifer kisses Matthew after he restores her bathroom. Shy Matthew flushes and hurries out. Andy, Stanley, and Johnny like killing birds in the woods. Stanley, who loves randomness, records the savagery. Matthew comes shortly after and tells the group about Jennifer kissing him. Johnny doubts him, but Stanley proves it by presenting a video of her in underpants. Jennifer is concerned by the scary home sounds at night. She discovers just a dead bird outside her door. She sees the group picture on her laptop when she returns inside. She is horrified until she realizes they are inside. Johnny, Stanley, and Andy harass Jennifer, scaring her. Johnny brings Matthew inside to join their plot when Stanley calls. Johnny leaves the others in threatening and drinking Jennifer. Johnny becomes angrier when she refuses, forcing her to comply. He then pulls Jennifer closer and asks for her teeth. Johnny draws a revolver and kisses Jennifer. While Johnny watches, Andy does the same with booze. Jennifer pepper sprays Stanley after hitting Andy's leg. She can flee to safety in the woods. Jennifer and Earl encounter Sheriff Storch. Jennifer tells the guys tearfully about her previous attack. Storch's badge reassures her that she is protected. The sheriff tells Earl to go home because he will take Jennifer to the cabin. Storch then drives Jennifer back to the cabin to face the gang. He boldly shoves them out while searching the cabin. Storch discovers Jennifer's joint and smashed beer bottle. Despite her pleadings, he interrogates Jennifer. He thinks she should not lie about the guys he has known since childhood. Storch then pats Jennifer while facing the window. As the lads enter, he unlawfully touches her, exposing Storch as the group's collaborator. Storch instructs Jennifer to kneel with a shotgun. Johnny lifts her up and orders Matthew to undress. Jennifer is at risk of death with 5 callous guys. Matthew forces himself on Jennifer while Stanley records. Jennifer escapes the cabin despite being weak. She finds the gang again in the woods and suffers more. Andy submerges Jennifer's head twice in a puddle. Storch strips and forces himself on her while she lies on the ground. Jennifer wakes up covered in mud when the men turn on her. Jennifer rises again to search the woods for aid. She reaches the bridge as the 5 guys pursue her, still unhinged by her ordeal. Jennifer jumps into the river just before Storch shoots her, disappearing. They cannot find her corpse. Instead, they erase evidence, notably Stanley's recordings. Storch arrives home to his wife and kid, Chastity, after a busy day. He stays home without regret, as if nothing had occurred. The following day, Storch brings the cabin keys to Earl's store, stating that Jennifer fled without warning. The gang lives normally for weeks. Matthew is the only one who regrets staying in the woods. He sees Jennifer eerily gazing at him. Matthew hides his eyes in terror and thinks Jennifer is haunting him. Stanley runs toward Andy and Johnny as they drink. He worriedly tells the voice that his camera was taken and that he retained the problematic footage. Johnny rages and beats Stanley for putting them in danger. Johnny hears sounds outside and finds a dead bird on his doorstep that night. He starts it before entering. He returns inside and hears it again, bringing a rifle. The dead bird appears again on his doorstep, unidentified. Johnny runs outside to discover Jennifer's shoe on the porch and attempts to track the sound again, but he fails. When Storch gets home, his wife tells him a delivery has arrived. He is pleased that his wife and daughter have not seen Stanley's tape, Storch races to meet the apprehensive group. Storch immediately threatens Stanley, believing he is pranking him. Johnny presents the slipper to protect his pal, accusing Matthew of everything. Storch gives Earl booze and shoots him while hunting. Earl observes Storch take Jennifer back to the cabin, making him a suspect. Matthew contemplates his activities in the cabin. Jennifer's voice calls him inside. Falling down the stairs knocks him unconscious. He awakens to discover Jennifer seated on the sofa. He sits near Jennifer and apologizes. Matthew clings to her in remorse, crying. Jennifer soothes him, then ties a noose around his neck. Despite gasping, Matthew apologizes, but Jennifer says it is not enough. The gang searches the woods for Matthew when evidence resurfaces. Andy and Stanley find him in an abandoned cabin after several minutes. Stanley searches for Matthew as Andy enters. He is shocked to find Jennifer smirking at him. Stanley jumps on her bear trap and cries for Andy, who is battered. Jennifer smacks Stanley, knocking him out. Jennifer ties Stanley to a tree and films him. She throws a dead rodent in his mouth, making him puke. Jennifer sets up the camera and uses fish hooks to keep his eyes open. Jennifer guts a fish and covers Stanley's face while filming. Crows peck him after smelling the fish's intestines. He bleeds to death when the birds devour his eyes. Andy wakes up bound to planks above a bathtub in the rundown cabin. As Jennifer checks on him, the tub starts filling. Andy begs her to let him go, but she wants to torment him as she did. Jennifer repeatedly submerges his head in water before adding lye and removing a board. Andy must struggle to keep upright but falls into the water. Andy's face burns, killing him. The next day, Jennifer visits Johnny's petrol station. She assaults him in a short skirt. She returns him to the cottage to wreak havoc. Johnny awakens naked, bound to the ceiling. Jennifer rips out his teeth with pliers, revealing his faults. Jennifer puts a pistol to Johnny's lips, as he did to her. He laughs, agitating Jennifer. She chops Johnny's privates with hedge clippers and puts them in his mouth. He dies screaming. Jennifer's last objective is Storch. The sheriff's family calls to say Chastity's instructor is at their house. Jennifer's phone greeting stuns Storch. He rushes home to see Chastity and Jennifer. Storch enters an empty playground without his daughter. He panics and goes back to the patrol vehicle, where Jennifer knocks him out. He wakes up in the cabin with a weapon within him. Jennifer brazenly discusses how great Chastity is and how he might abuse a lady. She pushes the weapon further, bringing the sheriff unspeakable anguish. Jennifer says Matthew is alive but unconscious across the room. If Matthew moves, the trigger string around his wrist will murder both men. Jennifer rejects Storch's plea for his life. Jennifer leaves the cabin, unperturbed by his screams. Matthew awakens, asking Storch to calm him. However, Matthew's mental handicap prompts him to panic and accidentally shoot them. Outside, Jennifer celebrates her retribution. Thanks for watching. Watch another video.